Welcome to the first edition of the Speaking Tangents with Fidas and
Orion. Welcome in, everybody.
Welcome. I mean, we've done a first one. This is the first one, and it's already an anniversary one. So happy birthday, mate!
Thanks, mate.
So he just brought a very cool single malt, and we're appreciating it profusely. So yeah. What do you want to talk about?
Man, that's a good question. So I've been going over this in the last few days in my head. Would ancient philosophers like Socrates, Diogenes, and the sorts, would they make it in today's social media era?
Wow, that's a really good one.
Right? Because the algorithms, they incentivize, provoking people.
True.
Doing extreme and saying extreme things. And I mean, especially if you talk about like Diogenes and Socrates, I mean, they were the provokers of their time. I mean,
provocateur.
Like Socrates got killed for it, right?
True.
Pretty much.
He went a bit too far for some people's tastes. Yes,
So,
indeed.
I guess they would do fine, pretty much. Kind of.
Yeah, I mean it's really a good one. I mean you cited lots of Greeks, and I would also think of the Chinese ones, right? So Kung Tse and Lao Tse. I don't know. Some of them might not truly enjoy this form of mass impersonal communication, because if you think of it, it is kind of like that, right? And like Plato, he liked that thing of going for walks with the students, let's say, and talking in nature and having a tete-a-tete in a way. And it was about community, I guess, more in those days than, I mean, like actual community, like person to person, right? And seeing their faces, because I also think people nowadays with this impersonal communication, as I said, I think they can be, or they become more aggressive and more outspoken, but not in a good sense, right? So people say really nasty things.
Yeah, keyboard warriors.
Right,
is the
because
correct term.
There's kind of a low risk of getting your teeth punched out, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm no proponent of violence of any way. No. I mean, violence doesn't really lead to good stuff, but people tend to go way overboard with what they write. And for example, I had a truly rough week, and an ex-collaborator and person who I worked for years with, this person sent me a very nasty message. A very drunken message as well, but still you don't do that, right?
Yeah.
And what can I say? I mean, she wouldn't have said it to my face.
100%, yeah.
And people get braver, quote unquote braver, and way out of line with this thing. So I also don't think, going back to your first point, I don't think the philosophers would have enjoyed this bit. I mean, some of them I think would have been really good. Maybe Plato would have been really good at shorts, reels, and whatever content. But maybe some other of them wouldn't. As much. I'm not convinced. I don't know.
So the question is, would they enjoy it? Most likely not. I mean, if you just pull them out of their time and threw them into the 21st century,
no,
it's just way too different.
Yes.
It's too different. It's faster. It's less personal, let's say, right? Like there is no direct contact as much as it used to be. The communities we live in, aka cities, are way bigger than they could have ever imagined.
True.
So the enjoyment part, I would say, is a clear no. I could even see people like Marcus Aurelius go, nope, I'm out of this. I'm not even going to do that, right?
Yeah.
But the being good part, I think some of them could actually be really good.
Yeah, I mean, but in the end, you might. So I think there is extra value in a written message, written as in a book, and written as in something that you need to spend time to take it in and then to think about it for days. For example, I have this. I don't know the. I think it's Tao Te Ching, the book of Tao or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but because I only have the Romanian the version translated in Romanian, and I mean, you need to take. So, for example, Lao Tse, he's doing this kind of a haiku thing. So it's a very short bit of knowledge and wisdom, and then there's like at lengths people or the author who recompiled and who explained what Laotius, as the Latins called him, meant. So you need that. I think you truly need that. You need that time to digest it slowly, and I think otherwise the message would just get lost because people would just reinterpret it very fast. Yeah. Right. And I think some of the big ones, even the Greeks, I think they would really not appreciate.
No. So I was doing some self-experimentation. Oh my God, that sounded weird. Not like that, obviously. But comparing the way I used to read books. So I'm still, if I read a book, and it's not like some fantasy novel or something light, but I'm reading an actual book that is supposed to teach me something and expand my horizons, so to speak. I'm trying to have a conversation with the author in the book. So I write stuff in the margins, questions or something that I relate to something else. So I write it down there.
Okay.
And when I used to have a lot of time, now as a father of 2 kids, and having a full-time job and also trying to build a side business, there is less time for that. But I used to read the book like I just described, and it would take quite a while. Even though I'm a very fast reader, I could read like a fantasy novel of 1,000 pages in something like 2 to 3 days. I would take a long time to read through these books, and then I would just set it aside for 3-4 weeks, and then come back and go back through it. And then I used to have like a Zettelkasten thing going.
Okay.
So I would actually write like the quotes out and try to follow up on the questions I had and the ideas I had.
Okay.
And I can still remember things from then much better compared to books that I'm reading now.
Right.
With the same method, minus the digestion part in quotes afterwards. And then compared to like digital articles or books that I'm reading, it's just different.
It is, right?
It doesn't feel the same working with the material. I mean, I know technically it would be possible to have like a tablet and then highlight stuff, but it's just not the same to me.
True.
And so there is a difference there. It's also a difference if I'm thinking in my head or if I'm thinking on paper.
True. I mean, I think you remember we met how many years back?
Whoosh.
4 years? Is it?
No,
3 years.
3 and something. Almost 4.
Almost 4, right? So we met, and I remember one of our very long talks, and I was criticizing the German system that they were for a couple of years they were insisting for like written things on like for the kids, you know, to write everything down on paper, and I was a bit outraged because like, man, we're still being asked here in Germany. By the way, we're in Germany. We're being asked for documents, like official documents, to be sent via fax, which is.
I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, that nowadays, you know, in 2026, that's a bit too much, you know.
Yeah.
And but still, you know, I was very much against this, like, oh yeah, the written thing and the penmanship that which has to be nice. And you were not agreeing with me, and I was okay. Well, we each have our own opinion. And then I started reading some stuff, and my wife sent me some very interesting articles. And there was this article which proved you know, you learn way better when you write things. There's a special connection between your hand and hand motion and, you know, drawing the words on paper, and something happens to your long-term memory and your long-term learning. So I was wrong with that. However, I'm still 100% against sending stuff by fax.
Yes, I agree with that.
Printing everything on paper, which is like, okay, you know, as the Latins would say, scripta manent, sure, but come on, man. I mean, also in digital form, you can...
Not like that, though.
Yeah, that's taking it a bit too literal, right? So, yes, I think you also know that Sweden is going back, like it's pushing back on digitalizing
digital
and
education,
digital education, and then they're going back to paper and to books, which I think it's they did like a national study, like thing, and they discovered that the grades decreased by 25% or something like that, like a huge
it's not marginal.
Percentage. No, it's and they're like, okay, we're going back to what we know works. I mean, sure, but I think we would have to keep like a balance, right?
Yeah.
We cannot deprive kids of the digital tools.
No, we shouldn't. They need to learn
and the
to
hardware,
use them.
right? I mean, how did we learn as kids? I mean, I'm a bit older than you, but still, when I had my first computer or when I had my first interaction with a computer, that was a 286 type of computer. So you would load software via audio
Floppies.
Cassette. No, audio cassette.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm old, mate.
Okay, boomer.
Yeah, not quite. I'm a millennial, but yeah, I mean, early 80s. So yeah, I mean, I got that bit, and I remember, what was it, like Moon Invaders, Moon Lander, Moon something. There was a
Space Invaders used to be a
not Space Invaders.
So, no, that was the Nokia game. Oh, yeah, you're right.
No, it's even so. Space Invaders is even older. I think it's way. I mean,
okay, I'm younger, so I know it from the Nokia.
Nokia, yeah, and also Snake. Snake was way older than the Nokia version, but still cool. Or Tetris, or like going back to the Pong and what is it, like first games, right? But no, so yeah, it was quite a pain to load any software, but I still remember that game. Man, it was cool. I mean, you were controlling stuff via keys. I think Space, like for every other game, was for jumping, and then you got upgrades. So you got like an upwards cannon, a backwards cannon, a front cannon, and all kind of stuff like this. And but we kind of learn by experimenting, right?
So tinkering is the thing.
That was my point. And also like floppies, which I freaking hate. I still remember I had like stashes of floppies, the small ones, not the big ones. I mean, we kind of went abruptly from, like reel-to-reel machines, which were compiling whatever Fortran or whatever, So my aunt used to work for the National Institute of Statistics. Mm-hmm. So they had like an entire room full of IBM computers in communist Romania and post-communist Romania, right? IBM, not Soviet.
Note the room. full of computers, right?
Yeah. And when I mean a room, imagine like a warehouse-sized room. So it was huge. Those things were making a lot of noise. It was like a constant buzzing going around.
Very mechanical still, yeah.
True. And like on huge tape. And they also were using like this perforated pieces of cardboard.
Yeah.
To load pieces of, it was like super. So from that, we went to cassettes. From cassettes, there was like a small period of using the big floppies, the ones that were actually flopping around. And we got to the small ones. And I hated them because I remember I really wanted to play, what was it? Command and Conquer, I think, right?
Yeah.
And it fit on 27 floppy disks. And of course, floppy disk number 27 had an error on it because reasons.
Of course it
would get demagnetized very, very quickly. Like if you had that floppy close to any kind of a magnet of sorts,
it was gone.
Yeah,
I can remember 2 instances that were kind of funny, but also not. So my mom is like a learned accountant.
Mm-hmm.
And so she even back then, she used to do some work from home things.
All right.
And she had like this big box. It was like, I think like 20 centimeters by like 15, full of these floppy disks. And they were in a predetermined sequence.
Right.
And I can remember like getting into hot water, not just once, because we would play with them. It was like cool. And then they would be out of sequence. Yeah, she was not happy about that. Like,
for sure.
All.
I mean, but they have like numbers?
Yeah, they did. Like you could like write on them. They had like a piece of paper. Yeah. But
they had labels. Yeah.
Ordering like, I don't know, 80 something floppy disks after your kids were through with them. No, you're not gonna make friends doing that. No
bueno. So, yeah.
And I also remember my dad had like a collection of these music cassettes. And I had a magnet, and I thought it's a good idea to hide it in the drawer with all those cassettes. That's when I learned, coming back to tinkering, that these things work basically with like magnets, right? And they were like set up with magnets, and if you do something with a magnet close to them, you undo the whole thing. And
very fast.
Yeah.
So what I was going for, because of course we're going on multiple tangents, and by the way, if you hear like a click clack sound, this is a wonderful dog by the name of Monroe, who's something like a mini collie.
It's a Shetland sheepdog.
Yes, exactly. And he's very, very, very friendly. Now, enjoying one of my hands, which smells, I think, like hand cream. So, yeah. Anyways.
And popcorn.
Yes. Yeah, you really love popcorn.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, so let's get the dog a bit more popcorn. Right, so what I meant with that thing, like we learned to fix and troubleshoot our own computers. We learned how to use software by ourselves, how to use the hardware, how to clean the bloody mouse when that ball was getting clogged up, and all that stuff, right? And I think going back to the one of the main roots, the root themes, we don't have to deprive the kids of using mobile phones and tablets and everything, but it's easy to get overboard with that, and it's easy to get lost in this constant stream of
soulless slop.
Yeah, exactly. And high dopamine, no learning, no nothing. You know, I mean, you don't get any value from it. And so I remember I finished the university like really late, like at 39. I'm a very late bloomer. Not a boomer, but a bloomer, late bloomer. And I was the oldest of the entire group. And which actually came with some perks, I have to say. But we had like our main, how was it, like the project theme we had to do to get our diploma in the end, and we had to work as a as a team. And of course, because the guys were younger, some of them just decided to disappear into the sunset and to leave us to do their work. Like one of them was like this. But there came a point of where do we take our references from? And because we had to write papers, and you know, when you have to write something for a university, you cannot just use, well, there was no ChatGPT or LLMs at the time, or not publicly available, but there was still like Google. You could Google stuff. And yeah, my colleagues said, yeah, we'll just Google shit. And I was like, guys, no. And of course they were like, yeah, you, come on, man.
Old man, what do you know?
Yeah, what do you know? And then they asked one of the teachers, which was actually my age, which was kind of funny, in not the best way ever for me, but whatever. And they were like, no, you find certified sources. You either go to a library and you get like books, actual books, or you get to also certified websites, which like JSTOR and you know, the university kind of
.edu domains.
Exactly. And I was quite shocked that most of them never even heard of like Google Scholar, like let's say the SideQuest engine, search engine. And I mean, I think going back to learning, you know, you really have to know your sources, check your sources, and not take everything like, you know what, I also surprised myself at some point. I read some titles and I drew a conclusion, because the titles were written in such a manner to lead you to a certain...
To lead you on,
You know? So, I know. So now this is the... And then it was like a little person in my head, like, the hell it is? Check it before, like, you know? So I checked it, and no, it was not like that. It was just, propaganda piece of sorts. It was an opinion piece in the end. It doesn't truly have to be a propaganda, but it was just an opinion. And it was biased as hell. So, yeah, I mean, for younger kids out there, don't take anything at face value. Like, nowadays, face value is, like, incredibly superficial. And
honestly, it always was. Face value, it's face value,
true,
right? Like,
true. But, you know, at least in the end, I mean, in the times of old, if you read something in a newspaper, let's say, or you heard something on the radio, you had a bit more time to discuss it with people, and people might have put you in your place, and no, it's not like that, and this such things are never like this, and you would have gotten some hard love, but still that would have helped. But nowadays most of it is kind of opinion pieces, and it's misleading titles, and now you can actually, I mean, if you have a bit of, like, I presume everybody has now experience with social media of all sorts, you can kind of smell the bullshit in the title, like, I mean, come on, this is way too much, right? So
kind of, but the biggest issue is that, like, today compared to even 10 years ago, let alone 20, 50, 80, 100, like, even back then, newspapers and radio station, they used to print propaganda and, like, opinion pieces, like, like, if you just look at Nazi Germany, they had, like, a whole radio thing going on that was cheaply available for everybody, right? True. And the difference between then and now is that it takes way less time and resources to put content out there.
True.
Right? Yeah. And I need to clarify that a little bit. To put out, like, just low quality type of content out there. It's very easy.
Yes.
It's getting harder and harder comparatively, right? To put out quality content out there and then have it seen or heard.
True.
Right? Because the algorithm, coming back to it, does not necessarily incentivize you to put like the time and the effort into it. And it incentivizes things that get emotions high. That trigger
like
reactions.
Rage baiting and stuff of the sort. Exactly. So I was reading an article. I don't remember the author, but it was really on point about this. Like they did a study and they observed with hard, cold data that. So it might take you like a week to truly document whatever you want to write about or to speak about, to do like a vlog or like a video or whatever. And the impact will be kind of low because usually it will have, as they say, a vanilla title and it will be kind of like a snooze fest and everybody will be like, we want a TLDR. By the way, I just found 3 days ago what TLDR was. I was like...
Too long didn't read.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, wow, I'm old. Shit.
That's an actual thing, yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was something completely different, to be quite honest.
What did you think it was?
So because it has the TL, I thought about TLC, tender love and careness and stuff like that. I was like, okay.
Yeah, you're old, man.
Yeah, I'm really old, right? So a 90s guy.
You listen to too much Jimi Hendrix, my man.
Yeah, I do, and I don't regret it at all.
You shouldn't.
At all. Anyways, so yeah, and I'll go to Jimmy in a bit, but it's kind of like this, you write a very well documented piece. It will take you a long time, so the algorithm will forget about you and will prioritize stuff that gets out fast and gets out hot, and it's an opinion piece and will get people to comment on and to polarize. This is the thing. I think this is the sign of the time, the polarizing pieces.
Yeah.
And I also, it's very easy to fall in this kind of trap because it will just hit you in the emotional part of yourself. And for example, I just saw earlier someone like I presume by the name he was Russian, and he was of the opinion that the Red Army saved Europe in the Second World War, because otherwise we would all be speaking German right now. So I was like,
they played a part. Okay, fair.
No, they played a huge part. Nothing to say here, and nothing to say against that. But without the Lend-Lease program, I think they would have collapsed in 1944 after the Barbarossa in a couple of months. Because, true, they had like a huge industrial capacity thing, but still, saying that we did it all by ourselves and you guys you helped a bit, but it was not sure. But this sort of an answer or like a broad sweeping statement, come on.
Well, it all goes together. So also another self-experiment I did. I don't have any social media accounts, like at all.
Okay.
I left social media a long time ago.
All right.
And I never looked back. The only thing that I tend to consume is YouTube content from time to time. And I don't do that through YouTube directly. So I use an app on my phone. It's called NewPipe.
NewPipe, okay.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
It's one of the many YouTube clients. It's open source. It's pretty great. It allows me to anonymously consume YouTube content and play in the background and download and all that stuff that I usually don't need. But it's there for whoever wants it, let's say.
Okay.
And where was I going? Oh yeah, short content. So I always consciously avoided watching short content because it speaks to our most old and, let's say, primitive neuropathways, the dopamine system.
Right.
It gives you a quick dopamine hit and then it goes on. It gives you a quick dopamine hit and it goes on. And that makes our brains dislike paying attention to things for longer than 60 seconds.
True.
Right? So I always avoided that. And I've read a lot about like young people and children, you know, suffering from this and how much of a big problem this is. And I usually ask myself two things. Is that really true? And is this an opinion or fact? And these are the things I also try, at least with my eldest, the younger one is not there yet, like to go through that, right? Like, is that true? No matter like what the topic is. Right. Something I think I know or something somebody else said is like, is it actually true? And the other question is it an opinion or is it a fact?
Right.
And I'm trying to teach that to my older one. So I have two girls, and the older one is in last year of kindergarten.
Right.
And there's like always this person X, Y, and Z said. And she's more on the... She's highly intelligent, but also very high on the empathy part of the intelligence. And so she takes things to heart a lot.
Right.
And so I'm trying to teach her critical thinking type of thing, but also like show her that not everything people say is actually logical, true, fair, whatever. Right. And so I always ask her, I was like, is it an opinion or is it a fact?
True.
And that's a good way to deal with these things, because if you ask yourself that, you don't even have to dig too deep and, you know, acquire a PhD in every topic to just get a feel of, okay, this makes actual sense or this doesn't.
Right.
And I think this is something that, coming back to school systems, we need to keep. I don't think we should teach kids to work with these new types of media. I think we have to, right? Like, they grow up with it.
Right.
We talked about it a few weeks ago. My eldest said, yeah, we talked about it, and cats don't have a collarbone. And I was like, so who told you that? Yeah, my teacher told me that. So, okay, so that's a person you trust. Okay, but is that true? Or is that an opinion? Or what is it, right? And then she said something that really shocked me, because she's like, oh yeah, so we can ask ChatGPT, right? It will tell us. I'm like, okay.
The new standard of truth, right? So,
yeah, and to me it was shocking because I don't talk about it like when the kids are around.
True. Yeah.
I'm in IT, so I work with it almost daily, but I don't talk about it in front of the kids right now for obvious reasons, I would say. But some of her friends, they also have parents in IT, and if they look something up, they don't open a book like a lexicon or something.
Right.
They ask ChatGPT. Right? So I think it's absolutely necessary and vital for us to teach kids how to deal with these new media. And especially because of the short content, it oversimplifies stuff so badly. Yeah. Even if it's well-meaning, it's just bad. And coming back to the self-experiment I was talking about initially, so I always avoided short content because of that. And I kept reading like, it's so bad for young people.
True. Yeah.
And in my head, I was always like, but why is it only bad for young people? We old people have the same neural pathways, these apps and algorithms and the short content abuses. So I tried it out for a few months. And I actually started to struggle noticeably with attention span. So an article about something tech related or whatever, I used to read from top to bottom without breaking concentration. I couldn't. I needed to do something else. Like I would break it up into 3 or 4 parts depending on the length. And about a month ago, I stopped again, like cold turkey, so to speak. No short content.
Okay.
And
raw dogging life, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I tend to play all the video games I'm playing on the highest like difficulty always. I mean, I love Dark Souls. I think that says it all.
A bit of masochism there, yes, yeah.
And so, by the way, I'm playing The Witcher 3 right now whenever I have a little bit of time. Of course, highest difficulty, and it's such a great game, The Witcher 3. I really appreciate it.
Nice.
Where was I going? Yeah, attention span, right?
Yeah.
Talking about it. So now I can feel the attention span coming back bit by bit. but it's definitely not where it used to be. And so this is detrimental not only to kids and like young people, it's detrimental to all of us.
It is, but I think there's an extra layer of danger for young kids. So us, like adults and mature people, more or less mature, because I still feel like 13 on the inside. Right? So we got trained in a different world altogether. Yeah. So also school was very old school. I'm originally from Romania, so I got also like a bit of the communist system and the post-communist system. And it was, let's say...
different.
Also different, but very set in its ways.
Yeah. There's a German system right now, by the way.
Yes, I know. I can. I mean, I also have 2 kids. I have boys. You have girls. That's different layers of
difficulty.
Exactly. But yeah, all in all, you know, our neural pathways got trained in a certain way, and even though you can break those connections and you can retrain your brain. We still kind of, I think, we have some fail-safe mechanism that we got trained in a certain way that, okay, but let's not take everything and anything at face value. And for example, in my case and in the case of my country, because also my parents were against the regime, that was a complication for our lives.
Really?
Yeah.
Go figure.
Well, a good complication in many ways, but in other ways, you know, there were times I wished they were like everyone else.
I feel that so much right now, yeah.
Yeah. I got taught to not trust anyone and anything, and
especially authority, right?
Especially authority, and especially strangers, and I mean even relatively close family. I had to be like very like okay, on guard, you know, like. But I have a funnier story, so let's not get the Eastern European darkness here.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Exactly. So
I'm watching Supernatural right now. Sorry, I have to tell you that.
All right.
I'm watching Supernatural now.
Right. Well, what is this like?
It's a
series.
It's a series about 2 brothers, and they are so-called hunters.
Okay.
Because all this supernatural stuff that people put away as just, you know, lore, like vampires and werewolves and demons and angels. In that universe, they actually exist.
Oh.
And they hunt these things, so they protect people. And right now, I'm watching season 11.
11.
And the darkness, God's sister, is the main antagonist. So
okay, well,
it's interesting.
That sounds cool. I mean, what I'm watching right now is Fallout, also a bit of a dark series. It takes place in let's say retro future of sorts, in a world.
Retro future, what a nice oxymoron.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a world stuck in the 50s, which was nuked to hell.
Like the 1950s?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
because there was the 1850s, those were also very interesting, but different.
Yes, there are no nukes back then, though. So yeah.
Fair enough, yeah.
So yeah, but that's also a good that's a good series, and actually that's my let's say my reason for doing some technical exercise on guitar, because otherwise most times during the day I don't get any time to practice a bit more and to get my hand back in shape. By the way, I'm a musician as well as many other things.
So using your right hand a lot, huh?
Yes, exactly. Especially the left, actually.
Yeah, so it feels different.
Yes, exactly. The Stranger, if you know the movie. No, but going back to, of course, tangents, all the tangents. But going back to this, like, don't trust anyone.
Yeah.
So my grandpa from my father's side, he was a police officer, and he was this tough. Of course, he had to be tough. I mean, he was a superior officer. He was a lieutenant colonel, I think. I think he retired as a colonel, like full-on colonel. Wow. So yeah, at the time they still had like military ranks,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, you had to be a certain way then, yeah.
Yeah,
or to act like it at least.
No. They actually had like military ranks in the. It was not called the police. It was called a militia. So militia in the communist times. That doesn't matter. But this guy was fun in many ways, but scary in some other ways, because you could always feel the danger and anyways. But he decided to dress up as Santa Claus one winter.
Okay.
I think I was about 4, 5. I was preschool for sure. And by the way, I got to school later, like at 7 and something, some change, because I don't know, because reasons, I presume. I did not enjoy school, by the way, going on that tangent, but
Go
yeah.
figure.
Yeah, and so Grandpa dressed up as Santa Claus, had a red robe with the white...
Very not communist, by the way, Santa Claus.
Yeah, exactly. He had the Coca-Cola, basically, the Coca-Cola outfit, right? So with the white trimmings and everything. And he came like, ho, 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 with a transparent bag, like a plastic bag full of toys. And I was looking at that bag, I was like, those are my plush toys. And that's my favorite fox. The one I had like a rubber fox. So I've never had like a rubber ducky for taking buffs. I had a fox. So that was my buff fox. And I saw my fox in it. I was like, okay, that's strange. Anyway, so he took me in his lap and he was like, ho, ho, ho. So what, were you a good kid? And I was looking like very intensely at his shoes. I was like, so Santa, why are you wearing my grandpa's shoes? Awkward silence, as you can imagine. Like, oh yeah, we're going to the same store. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then I looked at his face, right? I was like, and why are you having my like the exact glasses my grandpa is wearing? And then he started laughing and everyone, I was like, okay, so it was Grandpa all along, right? And he was so proud. He was like, we might have a police officer, another one. Never.
Yeah, but, thanks, no thanks.
Yeah, but still, I mean, about not trusting anyone and not trusting authority, not even Santa. And but yeah, that's a bit of a more light-hearted story about all this. But still, it's really scary because, for example, my sis, she's 3 years younger than I am, and she has. I mean, it is in a way. I'm pretty sure it is her way of just blowing off some steam after a really hard day at work. She's still in the corporate world, and she has one of these like hellish jobs. And yeah, she just needs to laugh, and she keeps on sending me like this, as I say sometimes, like a diarrhea of memes and stuff, right? Like it's like a never-ending stream of
stuff.
Whoops! Don't hit the microphone. Yeah. So
why not?
Yeah, exactly. don't do those sounds. Anyway, so and you know, after a long day of work, I'm actually working 2 jobs right now, and after a long day of that, I'm also kind of like laughing at some of those stupid memes and stupid videos and stuff, and I can see how addictive it could be, especially for younger people. I mean, I'm not searching actively for such content, but after I'm being sent and I'm watching it, then the algorithm is like, oh, you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
You stayed there more than
until the end, yeah.
X seconds or whatever. So okay, so you like this sort of stuff. And going back to the short content and the philosophers, like our starting idea or starting theme, I think they also might get tricked into watching this sort of content or even making this sort of content. I think some of them, I mean, let's be very vague and broad about it, and let's say, okay, maybe they won't have a total culture shock going straight from antiquity and ancient Greece to our world or ancient China, even older, I would say, or more or less as old as the Greeks, and taking them to this world and to this set of values or lack thereof, and I think they also might find some niche of addictive stuff.
Yeah, it is addictive.
It is addictive. You know, that exactly what you are saying, like your attention span and losing your ability of having a healthy one. I mean, imagine how it's for people who are digitally native. We're quasi-digitally native. I mean, I
not really, no.
Yeah, I mean,
not native. We acquired the taste.
Yeah, I mean, my generation, me being like a millennial, as the now we're called today, we were born in the analog world, so I still remember like the black and white TV. And I remember like the old radios, the ones with like the huge big white buttons, so you could go from LW to MW to SW, so to different wavelengths, and you could listen to all kind of exotic radio stations around the world. Most of them are not in existence right now, or I don't know how many. I think some of them are still in the FM, but in the AM, I don't know who's out there anymore. If there's anyone out there, So I got born into that world. So I still remember like vinyl and reel-to-reel machines, and then a bit later, I would say, because of course we were always behind, behind the Iron Curtain. I remember cassettes and then CDs. That was a huge thing, the CDs. We got them around mid-90s, I would say. And, we were born in a different world, and even like the early stages of internet, like late 90s, early 2000s.
2000s, yeah.
Was still kind of like Wild West in a way,
100%.
Right?
Remember LimeWire?
Or Netscape, or what was it like? I don't even remember, man. I mean, I remember the world before Google. So Google came into existence, what was it, 2007 or 2008?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, right? And also, like, I think YouTube came around 2010 or something, or a bit.
There was the time when it didn't belong to Alphabet, right?
Exactly, right. So I think I made my YouTube account in around 2011, like my first one. I made a couple of more, including we made this one for this podcast right now, and it was a different thing. And but still, So going back to the entire thing, still, even for people who were brought up and educated and got their values in an older system or in a hybrid system, let's say, like from analog to digital and to whatever this is right now, the AI-driven thing, still we can, fall into that trap and just spend hours watching memes, reels of whatever, and short content because it's addictive. You want to see the next one and the next funny one. And at some point, like after a couple, even like I said, sorry sis, I didn't mean to say it like that, but it is kind of a bit too much, whenever you're
sending, though.
yeah, of course, always, but still it's addictive also for us. So imagine for someone born into this world, like all of this is already like normal, so memes and reels.
So I have a question itching in my head right now, talking about memes.
Right.
Do you think memes replace what lore used to be back in the day? And mythology, maybe?
I don't know if I would go so... I mean, they are really shallow, right? So I think they're more like jokes, I would say, right? Like, how we used to say all kind of jokes, like silly ones and more or less like jokes with doctors, police officers. Here in Germany, you have the Max and Moritz. In Romania, we had the Bulle.
Yeah, but Max and Moritz is still like culture. People and kids still grow up with it. So I think memes, they all are a big spectrum as well. Like from super shallow and stupid to also like deeply like social and political.
True. I mean, also jokes are kind of like that, right? They are. I think that the entire the meme thing, the meaning of the term, it's what is it, like avatar of this world, right? Yeah. It's a thing of this sort. So I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't go as deep as lore. I mean, we have like urban how is it?
Urban legends.
Urban myths, legends, urban myths, right? So we have that to maybe replace the actual lore and the old school lore. But other than that, I wouldn't credit them more than this. I think they still kind of just scratch the surface.
I don't know. So I grew up with the Epic of Gilgamesh, for example. That was a bedtime story I used to hear.
Oh, okay.
So
that's quite a bedtime story, I would say. Yes,
it is. I mean, I am Assyrian, and so this is the heritage I grew up with.
Right.
And like everybody around me, like grew up with those stories. We used to have certain lores and certain like fairy tale type of stories, and they were ubiquitous, let's say. Like everybody knew them or a version of them, and I think memes are pretty much the same nowadays. Like kids tell them to each other, and they are kind of everywhere and ubiquitous, and they tie to things that are important for their time, right?
True. But yeah,
even though they seem or even are shallow and surface level sometimes, I think they actually go deeper than that.
I don't know. I'm not convinced. So again, I think now we kind of replaced all that, and also what used to be, considered as religion with some other things, and or a big haze, which nobody knows what it is, which I don't know if this is good or healthy, or I don't quite know if the value of it right now. But in a way, it kind of feels like we're living a huge human experiment in a way.
Oh yeah, constantly.
Right? Because we're bombarded with all kind of stuff, so you're kind of always on guard, you're always faced with this fight or flight thing, which doesn't allow you to truly digest about what we were talking some minutes ago about digesting information and truly taking in the meaning of stuff, and also I think a sin of the modern media and modern communication of sorts is that people get isolated in silos, and
oh yeah, that's a big issue.
They don't get to communicate to one another, and they don't get to confront ideas. And again, about what I was saying about this sort of aggressiveness, right? Or especially online, in like very acidic messages and very strong worded commentary. Like most people will not say that in true life, and
100% not,
because there's always the fear of violence. Some people might not take it lightly, and they might reply with fists, which again I do not condone that sort of thing, but still it's one of our human things. I mean, also animals have violence, so we're not unfortunately we're not above that.
I saw a funny screenshot from Twitter. So it's a screenshot. I don't know if it's actually true or not, but there was like an MMA fight, and then somebody like from the audience like commented on Twitter like the fighter that lost just sucks and doesn't know how to fight and so on. And that fighter responded to that tweet. I was like, so would you dare like say that to my face? And then the guy in a funny and honest moment was like, no, I'm not dumb. You're gonna hit me, right? It's like, yeah, exactly this. Like, the things we do and the things we say have consequences, and they do have these consequences even if we abstract them away via the internet.
Right.
Like what you say and do and the message you type still has consequences, good or bad, right?
Yes.
The only difference is we abstract it away from us, so we don't feel the immediate results of that, right?
Right.
So nobody's punching me in the face if I type something really stupid or aggressive or offensive.
Yeah. I mean, there was this story, maybe rewritten, whatever, older story, but there was this story of a bully who went to his dad and was like, I was scolded at school by my teacher that I always pick on kids and do this and do that, and I don't know what to do about it. This is how I feel like I should react, and I should, act. And his father said, you know what? Each time you do that, take a nail and the hammer and just, beat a nail into the fence, right? And he did that. And after he filled the fence with nails, right? His father said, okay, take them all out. In the meantime, he got better. He started being praised at school for being very polite and everything. And then his father said, okay, you can take the nails out. And he was like, but there's all those holes. And he said, the father said, yes, there are consequences of your actions. So even though you said you're sorry, look, there's still a scar in there.
Doesn't make it go away.
No. And I think this is a thing that how do we teach this to our kids? I mean, it's super hard. It's super, super hard. And sometimes I feel like, if you have a healthy parent to kids relationship, they might still pick up some not so good traits and ways of
dealing with things.
Exactly. From the outer society and from social media altogether, because they will see some so-called influencers. I really hate this term, which will encourage like really bad behavior, to say the least. Some of it's against the law altogether. So how do you truly guard your kids from that thing? It's still a bit scary for me, I would say, and I'm trying to solve it all with the question that terrorized my parents and also my teachers, like why? Always I'm asking, at least my older son, he's 13, I'm asking like, why? I don't know. Well, think of it.
Yeah.
Come with a good answer, and then we'll talk about it. And he kind of got the idea from that, and now whenever he's confronting me with whatever situation, he already thought of something.
Yeah.
But it's still an uphill battle,
Yeah.
I have to say. It's not easy at all. And however prepared you might feel as a person and human and and parent, I still think it's really, really hard to get kids, to be at what the Romans called mediocritas aurea, right? So the middle golden line,
middle,
right? Yeah. So how do you do that? I don't know.
Well, if you're really honest, you cannot guard them from that. It's just not happening.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just the truth and the way it is. Like I can still remember the time when you could either be on the internet or like have a phone call.
Yeah.
And my parents tried to do their due diligence, and they had like all these like filters and so on, and they didn't know about Tor, right? So, but I did.
Yeah.
So you don't know what you don't know. I think that the thing that you as a parent can do, and at least that's what I'm trying to do, is you kind of try to lead by example, and to try to instill these critical thinking reflexes, let's say, into your kids. Exactly as you said, like ask why, and then ask it again, and then ask it a third time, right? And then by the third time, you're really deep into things now, right? Because one of the reflexes that was trained, at least for me, and I think for you as well, very early on and through school and all these things, was to ask why. Is that actually true? What does
not
that
through school,
even mean?
I have to say.
I mean, for me it was because I actually read the original version of Plato's stuff and so on.
Right.
So I went pretty deep down that rabbit hole. So school did a part or had a part in that. But still, like all our life through tinkering as well. What is tinkering? Tinkering is, does it work like that? No? Why not? How do I make it work like that? Right?
Exactly.
So it's the same approach. And in my opinion, still the best way to learn.
Yeah.
And the best way I personally learn through tinkering. So, and we basically have to instill this in our kids as much as we can. And the other thing is trust, because if I look at my oldest daughter right now, she's so much smarter than I was in that age. Like so much smarter, so much more tuned into what's going on and into especially technology things. She was 3 years old when this happened. On the way to kindergarten, we walked by a bakery. And she randomly said, even though we prepared her lunchbox together, she was like, Papa, I want the breze now. And I was like, I don't have any change with me, right? She was like, you don't need it. You have a card. She was 3 years by that time, right? Like when I was 3 years, I was eating dirt, right? So I think putting our trust in them and our hopes in them is the other part of the medal.
True. But I have to say,
it's tough sometimes, though.
It is.
I grant you that.
It is. I mean,
I have 2 girls.
You have girls. I mean, for you,
the scenarios in my head.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yes, they're not good. But also me as a father of 2 boys, I have to truly make sure that they understand how to act and how to treat ladies and how to
and other people, right?
And other people, of course, but also talking about consent and talking about stuff like this, because boys tend to go into bravado territory and to make a contest out of everything like
They're
we do.
dumb. Like, come on. I mean,
Yes.
when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, even 20,
Bi-
I was a
man, but
stupid idiot.
Biologically, we're kind
Yeah.
of like this. I mean, girls
Yeah.
are way ahead of us.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
So also, this is one of the things that really annoy me about the German system of school. We had like a true tough time a couple of, well, the last year, making sure that our little one has the grades and the overall average grade of getting into what's here called the Realschule, and because he's very good at arts and painting and all kind of artistic stuff, and also he's studying piano, and we didn't want him to go to any generic school like this neighborhood school, which unfortunately shouldn't be like this, but it is. It's mainly a place for kids who are either neglected by their parents and society in general, and or they just have the misfortune of just ending up there. And I think the entourage is a very, very, very important thing for kids.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a formative thing, and if you get into the wrong place at the wrong time, it might set you on a different trajectory for life. So we were very worried in the end, and very happy in the end, and
the final end.
the end of the end, because
final 101.
Exactly, because he had this required grade, and now he will be. I mean, he got admitted into one of these better, at least for him, schools, but still, it's not fair, because girls, I mean, also in his class, girls were like had at least 30% better grades than all the boys as an average, at least.
Easily, yeah.
I think it was more like 50%. So, it's a no contest up until the boys and girls reach, let's say, 14, 15 years of age. And I know that because I read some studies, and I have some empirical proof from my father-in-law, who's a maths teacher, and he observed the same thing. I mean, except of whatever very gifted kids who are like maybe 2% of the right, who, I mean, for whom it doesn't really matter if you're a boy or a girl. They're just gifted and they just can perform. The bulk of them, which I was one of the bulk, nothing special about me. Boys develop later, intellectually speaking, than girls, and you can observe that in school, and then you can observe that in human interactions. They are really like goofy and and I think it's really unfair to do this what's called here the Übertritt, the going into the next educational cycle at the end of the 4th grade. In most countries, in most countries, including Romania, my home country, it's at the end of the 8th grade. So you go into what's called lycée, so like in French, lycée. And I don't know if there's still an exam. There used to be an exam which was kind of tough, actually, and it would, it would get people into certain high schools. Some of them better than other, but still, it was. I mean, it was a fairer deal than here right now, and I don't know why Germany is insisting with this this thing at the end of the 4th grade, but it is what it is. And fortunately he made it But still, I think it's an uncalled for stress, and again, I mean, we were talking about the dangers of AI, internet, quick info pieces and memes and all this short content. Add all that to the complexity of having some very good grades in an unfair competition, and you're kind of like,
you're done. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And as a parent, sometimes you kind of feel helpless, and you kind of feel like, what can I do right now? And but still, man, I think I'm good for today.
Yeah. Same. So as I said, I think we tend to see the problems and the bad things
True.
Out of proportion. But I mean, I know your boys, and also looking at my kids, as I said, they are much brighter than I was at that age.
That's true. I mean,
and
I think it's a proof of evolution.
I think so too.
Right? I mean, we evolve and adapt very, very, very fast, right, to new circumstances. And this is a new circumstance. Yeah. And on a brighter note, I think we should give our kids and society in general a bit more credit. I mean,
definitely.
I think it's quite easy to fall into this trap of, oh no, what are we going to do?
Yeah, everything is shite.
Everything is bad. Everything it's worse than it used to be. Yeah. And in the end, actually,
objectively, it isn't, because if you ask yourself, is it true? The answer
is
mostly no.
It is not, but it kind of feels like that, because I think the constant media pressure and the constant, I mean, we all know bad news sell better, right?
That's much better, yeah.
Right?
Unfortunately.
So if you keep on, publishing pieces about some bright kids who won whatever Olympics in maths or whatever else, right?
Yeah.
IT, AI, robotics and stuff, it's cool. You kind of get over it. But then, oh no, the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Everything, all the prices will rise. We'll all die. This sells. And because this hits us way deeper in that thing, like sets us to the survival mode back. Like
exactly.
Fight or flight, right? So on a brighter note, I think we should be a bit more.
Not everything is lost.
Not everything is
We're
bad.
Not gonna die. I mean, honestly,
one day,
mankind survived ice ages. True. We survived 2 major world wars. We survived famines and like all these things. And I do trust and believe in my kids and in your kids, for that matter, and in their generation.
I mean, me too, man. I think our kids will be okay.
Yeah,
in the
they
end,
will.
Man.
And if I compare myself to the generation of my parents, or even the generation before that, we are also much more aware of the long-term consequences of our behaviors.
True.
Right? And we are actually trying, at least, some of us, many of us, to leave a world that's kind of better and more conducive to the success, let's say, however you want to define success of our children. And yes, we do face many challenges, especially in what we used to call the West, right?
Yeah.
The West.
The West, yes.
It's getting late.
Yeah, true. And we're kind of mixing up languages and stuff. So
exactly.
That was West in German, by the way.
Actually mixing like 3.5 languages at the same time right now. I'm speaking English with my kids.
Right.
I'm kind of speaking Assyrian because I also speak like with my parents and so on.
True.
And then I speak German with my wife, and my wife speaks German with the kids, of course. And then I work for a German Mittelstand, so the only time I speak English is with my team, because these guys sit in Spain, and then they sit in Spain, so I kind of, latently learn Spanish. So it's like,
it's a mix of all. So I mean, going
and then
back
you
to
come in with Romanian, right?
Yes,
So.
yeah, like a curveball.
Yeah.
Even though it's more akin to Spanish than people might think. Anyways,
interestingly enough, another tangent we could go on for another
we
day.
will for sure in the next episode. So yeah, that was the first episode of Speaking Tangents. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for joining in, and hope to see you or hear you next time.
Thanks, indeed. All right, then.
Enjoy your evening. See ya.
Ciao.